I always liked to travel. I always liked an adventure, especially something that was a little more obscure, not the usual, you know. That's what it's all about, is the adventure. So when I got into the van life, I was kind of over wearing a suit and tie. I was going through some stuff. I had a lousy landlord and I was going through a breakup, and I just wanted to get away. And I started off with an RV traveling. When I first got into it, it was also freeing. You know, you're used to your bubble and your environment of what your day-to-day responsibilities are. Once you jump that hurdle and get out of that aspect of what other people expect you to be, and you move on down the road, you realize that all these jobs are going to be there regardless. You can go back to that 9 to 5, that cubicle, that sales job, that miserable boss, that miserable landlord. You can go back to all that. They're waiting with open arms. They're all waiting there for you. When you get that in your head and you realize that, then it makes it easier. It makes you not want to go back, to be honest. I mean, I meant to do this 6 months, and I just keep trucking on. I mean, I love it. I'm Zach Shelton. This is my 99 Ford van, E350, and I go by Don't Look Back Zach. The first thing I did was all limo tinted windows all the way around. So all these side windows are all limo tinted. The great thing about it, I didn't really need curtains, so it's great. I still get some decent sunlight coming through, but I got my privacy, so I could change into a wetsuit or who knows what without even having to worry about it. I got all brand new Cooper tires. They're pretty worn down because I've already driven all over the place during COVID. I did mostly, you know, new heavy-duty shocks, new brakes all the way around. I did new load bearings in the back. I wanted to make sure everything was mechanically sound. I did new points and everything on that. I put a lot of money into the mechanics of it for the ignition coils and all that stuff, so that way I didn't have to have anything to worry about. These engines are great. This is a V10 Triton. They run forever, like most people that have Fords. That's why I went for this older model with the high top. It's affordable. I bought it for $3,700, and then I converted it and built it out. Cost me probably roughly between $6-7 grand altogether, collectively about 10 grand for this whole setup. This used to be a wheelchair van, so hence the big opening. What I liked about this one though is where you have the big opening here, you don't have it on the side. A lot of times these vans will have that big opening on the side and it looks kind of wonky. This one didn't have it, so it looks like a normal high-top van, which is great, but it's ideal for the back doors. When I open them up, I have all that open space to be able to view wherever I'm at. So it's a killer option if you could come across one like that. Moving in on the interior, what I started out with, I got a lot of this repurposed barn wood at Home Depot. It's they come in different shades. This was I don't know if it was a treated primer gray, but it worked for me because at Lowe's they got this stuff called Minwax. It's a transparent white paint that kind of soaks into the wood, gives that antique look. A lot of this hardware, or this old hardware, I scored antique shops and all that. So this is killer. It brings out that whole look that I was going for. With, you know, plenty of storage for little knickknacks and this and that. And at night when I'm parked at the beach, I'll light up some candles and stuff and let them, you know, kind of glow, and it kind of gives that ambiance, which is, you know, kind of cool. This right here was just a cabinet that I screwed up onto there, and that holds all my tea, my coffee, and so that way, you know, it's easy access and it's great. I can enjoy a cup of tea on the outside or on the inside when it's closed. I put this little shelf here so I could know exactly where my keys are. I try to be very organized. I hate, as you know, in the van life, scrambling for stuff. So I try to have specific ideas where I could find stuff readily if I need to. I wanted something enlightening to walk into, especially during these hard times with COVID and all the stuff and everything that's going on in the world. I wanted a little oasis. So this is the reason why I built this out, and I did this back in August. And it took me about a month and a half, roughly, give or take. But I worked night and day on it, and I went to town, and I just went nuts. This is the outcome of what we have here. This chair, actually, right now I'm working for a furniture store in Newport, and they're going to throw it out. I had a broken leg. I still got to put a leg here. but the way it's propped up here, it's pretty sturdy, and eventually when I fix that, it'll be fine. But I love the color of it. It's a light pastel, not a obnoxious pink, and it works for me. I like the color, how it matches with everything else. It was perfect. Even the wood, it's not a dark wood, it's actually this lighter wood. I got my blackout curtains. I actually doubled them up because I didn't want this color for the inside. Again, I wanted to keep a light interior, so I put the tan on the inside and the dark on the outside for anyone looking in through the window at night. But the double blackout curtains, I mean, there's absolutely no light that comes out through it when I have it closed. I tie it up with these tie deals, you know, the curtain ties, for convenience, of course, and then also it just looks good with the decor of the van. I have some storage up here. I keep all my knickknacks, you know, just extra stuff, which is convenient. That came with it, so it was nice that I didn't have to mess around with it. Up here, this is my incense box. So just to keep things copacetic in there, I do have a porta potty in there, worst case scenario, but it's nice just to have it anyways for, you know, when you have your doors open and just have that nice ambiance going on. Of course, I'm a big fan of Kerouac and the beatnik era, whatever, so I painted this little picture here of On the Road, just as a reminder of what it is to kind of, you know, why most people do this, I guess, in a way. All of this is this ivy and the flowers and all that stuff. It's a collaboration of different places that I went to. I'll be honest, you know, a lot of it is IKEA, which is great. I just attached it to the existing ceiling of what was there, so I didn't gut this at all. I just added to it, and it worked out perfect for my needs. So I got, at night, it really pops out, but I got these little firefly lights that are hidden within there. It's real tiny, and of course I got that at IKEA too, along with this too. Now these aren't made too well, so I had to really reinforce this. You know, it came down a couple times in the beginning, but now it's strong as ox, and that holds all my spices and my seasonings when I'm cooking here on this stove. This whole counter here was actually a TV console that happened to fit perfect in the area, and what I did, I cut this whole area out on the top of it and this out, and my stove, my propane stove, fit perfect in there. So it's pretty awesome. The pans, even though it's sunken down here, the pans fit great, and I can actually drive without having to worry about anything falling off. So it's a great design for this because a lot of people's stoves are up above. You got to clear all that out. No, I leave my water pot up here and drive all the time, and you know, bangs around a little bit, but I don't have to worry about it falling for the most part unless I go on a really bumpy road. So I got these hooks that hook into a side hole, and that's where I keep my dishes and whatnot. So, you know, so it's not moving around while I drive. And it, you know, plus it's kind of cool with the barn doors. It gives that rustic look. All of this right here, I redid this entire counter with this stuff called retique. You know, with some dye and a brush, you give that, it gives the effect of a whole big slab of wood. And then I also put this backsplash on, and that's actually, it's in the front. It's originally it's plastic gold, but I painted it flat green, and then I did the antiquing stuff, the Minwax, like I used on the wood, on there, and sanded it, and it gave kind of a tarnished metal look, and which is, you know, what I was going for too. So it's a nice little backsplash for this. All right, so this is a full-size memory foam bed that I threw in there. Originally I had it sideways. It was a little too short for me, so I spinned it around this way, and it actually worked out better because even though I have space on the sides, it actually added for more storage. So I'm able to kind of stow away some stuff on the sides here and behind the pillows. So it works out pretty good. What I do have here, I wanted to point out, the original interior when I built on, I didn't want a bunch of foliage here if I was sitting up and reading a book or whatever. So I put this headboard here. I actually added more padding and used a burlap, which, you know, I figured looked a little bit better with what I was trying to achieve here. And I used these little pin cushions. I did this on my own. You measure it out, and I tufted it, and it turned out pretty decent, you know, not bad for a first-time job on tufting it, you know. So I did it on both sides to kind of match a little bit, and then you know, and then I added this mailbox, this old mailbox, to keep essentials in there and lighters and all that good stuff. With the under storage, this was, you know, a guy that was like a father figure to me. That was his old locker, and I brought it along. His name was Dwayne, and he's kind of like my travel partner in spirit. You know, Rip. You know, he passed away, but he was a Vietnam vet, great guy, and it's kind of a thing. I guess it's kind of bastardizing a little bit because I carry toilet paper in there. Right here is my porta potty. I keep that handy. Nothing special. I try to use that for emergencies, but it works for me. I do have, like a lot of people, I got my Jackery with a solar panel that plugs in, and that helps for my off-grid. Eventually, I'd love to get solar panels on the top, but anyone that knows, if you go camping in the woods and where there's trees, it's good to have a Jackery because you can move that around instead of the whole van. Just FYI, you know, when you're at the beach, then cool. But if you're somewhere where you're limited on sunlight, it's good to have one of these. And this has been good. This is the 500 watt, but it serves my purposes. This here is just a cooler, but I keep my dry goods in there. And the good thing about that is, you know, in case you're in a place like, you know, Joshua Tree or whatever, where you might have some rodents, you know, God forbid if they get in your van, but at least hopefully they can't get into this. So I got a Coleman fridge. Right now I threw some ice in there, so I got a combination of ice. It eats a lot of power. It's not the most ideal, so eventually that's my next deal, is to get a Dometic or something a little more efficient energy-wise, so it doesn't kill my battery. So this one, to be honest, I still throw ice in it because it's more efficient. So, but that's it. I got these curtains from IKEA, and they work as a combination of a bug screen. And I'll use little clips actually that I have here. I have a whole box of little white clips, and I'll clip them together when I'm boondocking somewhere, like in up in the mountains or whatever. So they work pretty good to keep the bugs out, but at the same time they look cool. I didn't want this obnoxious looking zipper thing, you know, out here. I didn't want to take away from the decor of the van, so I decided to go this way. I'll probably be changing them out though, because believe it or not, they used to be white. The flooring for me worked out perfect, but it's the square wood flooring that snaps together. I got this at IKEA. They got like 4 or 5 different styles. You know, you could even get grass, fake grass that snaps together, and then you can interchange them. Usually when you're getting in and out of a van and you got you know, sand is like sandpaper, so every time you're getting out it gets weathered after a while and it starts looking a little dull. I opted this because if I need new panels, I go to IKEA and just buy another box or two and change it all out. Or I could easily stain it, which this one I actually restained, and it brought the color back, and it turned out pretty good. There's this stuff called Old English with a bit of a dye in it. Real easy to use, messy though, you got to be careful. And it really brought the color back and the luster. So if you have any floors on that. But a lot of people will put brand new floors in, which look great, but give it a little time, it looks like hell, and then it takes it away. I got something here where I could simply just replace it, and it's like brand new again. All right, so this is my back door. This is where I shave, I groom myself. I wanted something a little more unique, so I went for this skinny mirror just so it didn't cover the whole thing. I wasn't sure if I was gonna do anything here yet, so I'm still thinking about that, but I'm leaving it as a blank canvas, so to speak. This lantern I got, and I put a fake candle in there, and at night it looks rad. It's a battery operated one, and it's great. At night it glows, so it looks killer. It looks rad, just hanging off the back of my my van like a boat. I built this little shelf here for just convenience to have stuff on, but it's nice, pops down, and same thing, I antiqued it and everything, so to give it that look, and that works pretty good. I made sure I had my door locks in here so I could open the door from the back. So when I built this, I made sure the speaker and everything else was attached to it. Then I worked on this side of the door. I put this kind of old chest looking thing, but that holds all my stuff for dishes, for you know, washing, cleaning, all that good stuff. So it's readily accessible. Got a nice little towel ring here, maybe crack a beer while I do my dishes. And got my shelf. This here, I was going to do a porthole, like a ship's porthole, a brass porthole, which I have, and I may still do something somewhere else. But I didn't want to wait. I didn't want to spend $250 at the time for it. So I decided to make my own porthole. I used 2 bowls to cut out this heart and use this hardware, and voila. And it kind of reminds me of an arrow shooting through a heart, so I kind of like it, but you know, in an antique kind of, you know, look. This down here, I'll show you. I got my miscellaneous junk. These are my toiletries, all that stuff. Got my propane bottles, my water, the usual. I do have my storage here for all my winter stuff, so I'll change all that out with my summer stuff, you know, when you know, if I head up north again or who knows what. This is I love this thing. This I've had for a few years with my old van. And it's a home base hot shower system. You can get this on Amazon, and they retail about 300, between 2 something to 300. There's different styles. Eventually I might get one that hangs up, but this one's been good to me. So this is it. That's my van, and I love it, man. It's like I said, it's a little oasis away from the chaos, and that's what I'm going for. You know, my background is retail sales, commission sales, so I pick those jobs up pretty quick. Normally what I'll try to do when I travel is, if I'm passing through a cool little town that looks appeasing, usually a coastal town or a winery or whatever, I'll look around that area and see if there's any jobs hiring, and then I'll go there personally and apply and land that job. You don't need $1 million to be happy. You know, when you hit the road and live this lifestyle, the luxury is out there in the woods and the ocean and wherever, not a handbag or whatever. And you know, if you are going to invest in a handbag, whatever, you should invest in the artistry of that product and not the status of what it may bring you. Most people just want the idea, I think, of freedom, to have that freedom to be their own captain, their own boss, and not having to answer to a landlord or anyone else, you know, their own responsibility of keeping up their own home. I totally recommend it. While you're young, or even if you're middle-aged, you know, do it while you're healthy and you can move around, you know, and see these things. I'm enjoying life much more now, and I have more peace of mind not having to worry about whether I can make my rent. And we've all been there, and I don't have to worry about that. My Instagram is Don't Look Back Zach. And if you see me on the road, say hi. And who knows, man, maybe we'll do some tea and make some fish tacos. It was a special moment that just went down the toilet.
You're an antique man.
Yeah, I'm a weathered man. Weather beaten. And, oh, hey, didn't know you were here. Or what? My pad on wheels?
Your pleasure wagon.
My pleasure.